We all know who's the best of the best in MCC, from Sapnap and Dream to Fruit and Illumina. But today I wanted to change the focus and look at the players that could shock everyone in the next event, whether it be helping their team to victory or completely blitzing their own personal targets. These are the top 5 players to look out for in MCC 24. But before we begin, let me know which player you'll be rooting for in this event in the comments section below. And whilst you're down there, remember to subscribe. Only 18% of my viewers are actually subscribed, which is kinda sad, so if you could subscribe it would mean everything to me. Anyway, with that being said, let's jump into it with our first player, who is Rambu. It's been a few tournaments in a row now that Rambu's even been missing out on his 3rd place curse, with him struggling personally as well as with his teams. However, in this event, I believe that bad luck is about to be turned around, as he's joined by some wonderful players of Purpled, Puffy and of course Wilbur, for what is definitely a strong team, even in this crazy tournament. But whilst his teammates are sensational, I think it's going to be Rambu's performance that changes the luck to potentially take them to Dodgeball, especially if he can bring back his best from his early tournaments where he was coming in and around the top 10. And if he does that this event, he'll have a massive chance of getting the win, even though he'll have some tough competition from Tubbo. Yep, that's right, the other half of B Duo returns after his first tournament out since MCC 9, which is kinda crazy, and he's finally back with Tommy, as the 3 Ts join together for the first time, as they're joined by Thunder 1408, as well as finally H-Bomb, who'll be looking to lead this team to victory. Now, I do expect that H-Bomb and Tommy will be the heavy hitters of this team, but Tubbo's performance in MCC Pride 2022, where he came 7th individually, is definitely a standout, and he might actually be this team's key to victory, because if he does that well, then they could legitimately be unstoppable in this event. I mean, if he actually wanted to win, all he'd have to do is whip out Tubbo Clone for that guaranteed victory, which he might have to do, as this is an extremely difficult event, with another who could be very important being CRinos. The Purple Pandas have basically got 3 players that could be huge for them this tournament, with Michael already having 3 victories in the bag and Rye Guy Rocky being one of the greatest dodgeball players ever. But for me, it has to be CRinos in this spot, because the man is being slept on. Back in Season 1, he was one of the greatest players ever, getting ridiculously high placements every event. However, since his win in MCC 13, he's been in the tournament a lot less, only having been in 3 events of Season 2 before this one. However, even though on paper he looks to be doing a lot worse, the teams he's had in Season 2 have been surprisingly weak. That wasn't the case in MCC 19, where he once again managed to get in the top 10, even with the lack of playing time. So based on this evidence, I've got to say him. I mean, he's literally got the skills to take his team to victory, as long as they all work together. But talking of teamwork, next up is Cubfan. So in my team predictions, I had Aqua in 9th, which was perhaps one of my most controversial opinions ever apparently, even if I said they could win. But I'll be honest, I have reconsidered since then, and it's all because of Cubfan. He's been a wonderful player in MCC for a long time now, having been to 3 dodgeballs and winning once, and it's definitely my bad for missing out on just what he brings to this team. Because if Cub does well, then I expect that won't only just bring up the team, but also Scar, who he's playing with for the first time ever, and Cub has always done really well with another Hermit in his team. As well as this team is almost a carbon copy of the Lime Llamas in MCC 12, where the team came second, unfortunately losing out in dodgeball, with the only difference being swapping Pearl for Scar. But with that being said, this tournament is of course a lot more tricky. However, even with that being taken into account, if Cubfan does well, then this team could definitely be challenging for the top. But now we move on to our last player, which is of course Hannah Rose. That's right, whilst it might seem like an obvious one, it has to be said, because Hannah is 100% the player to look out for this event. Even though I'd like to say no pressure, just have fun Hannah, you're epic. But also I mean she could literally change everything. And I seriously think if she takes to MCC straight away, with all her training as well, then that team could be unstoppable, as her and JoJo solos will be an insane duo that could scare even the best of teams. And this tournament has the best of teams. It's insane. And even with that taken into account, I think Hannah will do brilliantly no matter what, because she's a Minecraft god and a great creator. I mean, this duo reminds me so much of Puns and Purpled in their first tournament, if not scarier. So I'm excited to see them, as well as Pearl and Amesy, take to the stage, because it's going to be great vibes no matter what with this team, and I'm here for it. But with that being said, we've now reached the end of our list, so there's only one thing left to say now, which is of course, thank you so much for watching, and peace.